It seems like these days, everyone in sports media figured out Skip Bayless's formula for remaining on the air for as long as he has. Case in point, some of the most horrible takes I've seen this year have centered around quarterbacks Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and Tua Tagovailoa. For most, it just seems like as soon as these QBs lose a game, these analysts jump off the bandwagon, showing you how truly easy their jobs are when all they do is report on stuff after the fact. Then you also have special rare breeds like Joy Taylor, who constantly shits on Dak Prescott no matter what he's accomplished thus far in the season.
Dak Prescott, you don't think realistically there's anything he can do to win MVP this season?
Realistically speaking, no, because I don't think the rest of the league, the guys that are ahead of him, the guys that have been ahead of him in the conversation for this entire time, are all of a sudden going to take naps for the rest of the season and not continue building their MVP resumes.
Anyways, Cam Newton, who is one of the most dynamic quarterbacks of his generation, recently chimed in on a podcast and gave this absurd take on a couple MVP candidates. Have a listen to what he said.
Lamar Jackson, obviously Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, but Brock, they're not winning because of him.
He's not turning the ball over.
He's managing the game. And if we were to put that in its own right as game managers, Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, and really, Dak Prescott. These are game managers. They're not difference makers.
And when you say game manager, I'm not asking you to go out and win the game. I'm just asking you not to lose.
Not to lose the game. Listen, motherfucker, I don't give a damn what you do. You don't have to score every time. You just don't have to throw a pick every time either. If we're going to really call a spade, a game manager is different than a game changer.
Okay, so currently as it stands, Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott are pretty much the frontrunners for the league MVP. Dak Prescott ranks first in TD throws with 28, second in interceptions with just 6, and the second best QBR with 74.6. Brock, on the other hand, is second in TDs with 7 interceptions and leads the league in QBR with a rating of 74.7. Clearly, these two quarterbacks have been playing lights out as of late. They both struggled at times during the season, which is pretty normal for a player. It's hard to go completely flawless in a season, but let's take a look and examine some of the things that Cam said in that clip. He said that Mahomes and Lamar were game changers and that Brock, Dak, and Tua were game managers. I don't know how you can watch the 2023 NFL season and come to that conclusion. This is not talking about the playoffs from the years before or 2022, so forget all that stuff in the past. This is strictly the 2023 regular season. Just take a look at these numbers from these three quarterbacks and you tell me if these are numbers of a game manager this season. I mean, look at Dak's stats prior to the last 2 games against the Eagles and Seahawks. You can just add 5 more TDs and 2 wins and no interceptions onto those totals. He's 100% playing at an MVP level and his team is winning, sitting at the top of the NFC East right now as we speak. Then look at Brock Purdy after that 3-game losing stretch he had. PFF posted this where he had the second highest grade, first in passing yards and passer rating in his last 5 games. And Tua Tagovailoa himself is having a really good season. He's not game managing, the guy is literally taking shots down the field and is first in the league in passing yards. The fact that Cam is saying these guys are told not to lose the game is just absurd. These guys are literally balling out this season, especially Dak and Brock. If Purdy was a first, second, or third round pick, I'm telling you the narrative around him would be totally different. It's just that he was the last pick in the draft and people just have a certain perception of him. But if you truly look at his numbers over the last 2 seasons, he's playing at an MVP level. People can talk whatever they want about how he has all these weapons, but Jimmy G had all these exact same guys, and look where he's at. And I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, he can't do the things that they do, but to say that the 49ers are winning not because of him is just crazy. Anyways, take a look at the MVP odds from betting sites. They right now have Dak and Brock pretty much neck and neck to win. That said, what are your thoughts on Cam's comments? Fair or foul?